spark of the Great War. In the summer of 1914, Europe was calm on the surface, but beneath it, pressure was ready to explode. As Archduke Franz Ferdinand traveled through Sarajevo, no one knew that a single moment, a single bullet, would change the world forever. His calm expression, the tense crowd, the uneasy silence. This was the last peaceful moment before the world fell into darkness. The assassination. In seconds, history shattered. Gavrilo Princip stepped forward, raised his pistol, and fired. Panic spread like wildfire. The Archduke and his wife lay dying, and with them, the peace of Europe died as well. A single gunshot created a storm that would pull millions of lives into a war unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Europe falls into war. Alliances turned one assassination into a global disaster. Austria attacked Serbia. Russia defended it. Germany struck France. Britain stepped in. One nation after another fell into the fire. Europe was no longer a continent. It was a ticking machine pulling entire empires into the Great War. German army marches into Belgium. The German war machine moved with deadly precision. Boots thundered across Belgian streets as civilians stared in fear. Belgium became the first victim of the invasion, its resistance brave, its future uncertain. This march was the beginning of a long and brutal fight across Europe. Battle of the Marne. At the banks of the Marne River, the Allied armies made their stand, exhausted, outnumbered, but determined not to fall. As artillery thundered and bullets sliced through the air, France held its breath. This battle stopped Germany's advance and saved an entire nation from collapse.
Endless trenches. A scar across the land, hundreds of miles of trenches stretching to the horizon. Mud, wire, and shattered earth became home for millions of soldiers. Day and night, they waited, watching, listening, surviving. The trench line divided Europe into two worlds, life and death. Life inside the trenches. In the mud-filled trenches, the real horror of war lived. Rats feasted on food and corpses alike. Rain turned the ground into poison. Men slept beside the wounded and the dying. The smell, the fear, the waiting, this was the true battlefield of World War I. Over the top, when the whistle blew, everything changed. Soldiers climbed out of the trenches and ran into a storm of bullets. Explosions lit the sky. Machine guns screamed. Every step forward was paved with blood. Going over the top was one of the most terrifying moments a soldier could face. Poison gas attack. A silent killer drifted across no man's land. A green cloud of death. Soldiers scrambled for gas masks as their lungs burned and their eyes filled with tears. Chemical warfare turned the battlefield into a nightmare where even the air itself was the enemy. Battle of Verdun. Verdun became a symbol of pure endurance. Month after month, artillery crushed the land until it was nothing but dust and bones. France vowed one thing: they shall not pass, and with unimaginable sacrifice, they kept that promise. Battle of the Somme became one of the bloodiest days in military history. Soldiers advanced through mud, fire, and shattered earth. Entire battalions were wiped out in minutes. It was a battle that showed the merciless power of machine guns and modern war. African and Middle Eastern fronts. Far from Europe, the war spread across deserts and mountains. Ottoman forces clashed with British and Arab allies. Sandstorms replaced muddy trenches, but the suffering was the same. World War I truly reached every corner of the planet. War at sea. The oceans became deadly battlegrounds. German U-boats lurked beneath the waves, striking Allied ships without warning. Every journey across the sea became a gamble of life and death. The Lusitania sinking. The torpedo hit with devastating force. Panic erupted as the Lusitania began to sink. Families clung to each other. Lifeboats overturned. The world watched in horror, and the sinking pushed America one step closer to joining the war. America enters the war, Fresh American troops marched into France with determination. Their arrival brought hope to exhausted Allied soldiers. For the first time in years, the possibility of victory shone through the smoke. Russian Revolution. Amid hunger and war, the Russian people rose. The empire collapsed, and a new Red Revolution swept the streets. Russia withdrew from the war, and Europe changed forever. 1918 Spring Offensive. Germany launched one final massive assault. Stormtroopers advanced with speed and ferocity. For a moment, it seemed Germany might win. But their strength faded as the Allies held their ground. Allied counterattack. Tanks roared across the battlefield. American, British, and French soldiers pushed forward together. The tide turned. Village after village was liberated. The end of the war was in sight. Armistice signing. In a quiet railway carriage, Germany signed the Armistice. There was no celebration, only exhaustion. After 4 years of destruction, the guns were ordered to fall, silent at 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month. War's end. Europe wept for victory, for loss, for the millions who never returned. Cities were ruins. Empires were gone. And though the war had ended, the world that emerged was forever changed.